Join us each week for some booze-free banter about life without booze.
If you're entertaining the idea of cutting back your booze by a day, a week, a month, or for the rest of your life, we would love for you to tune in.
Buckle up and come along for a ride that may just change your life. Please note that some of the conversations we have may be triggering. Please reach out to your local support service in Australia. That's Lifeline 131114. Psst, hey Maso.
Psst, hey Breeza.
Did you know that Altina's sangria is vibrant ruby bubbles inspired by their love of all things Spanish?
Española.
We are huge fans of the sangria.
I love. Look, I've got double parked.
Double parked, nice. And you know what? When I drink, I don't know about you, Maso, but I don't have it. Like I don't have it chilled. I just have it room temperature. What's your
nice.
vibe?
Look, I love everything over ice. I'm an ice fan, so everything's
nice.
coughing a bit. So I'll take your ice. You have warm. You have room temp.
So you can mix things up, have it in the can, have it in glass, have it on ice, have it room temp. It's very versatile and it's very delicious.
It really, really is. Yes, Altina. Thank you. We love you.
We love you, Altina. And you can shop Altina online. You can also get it from Dan Murphy's, selected Dan Murphy's. But just, Google Altina drinks and shop till you drop.
I love that.
Maso.
Breeza.
What's going on?
It's all happening. It's all happening. Tell me about you first. You go first. Tell me about your week.
Love how you just do the sneako handball. Well, since we last spoke, actually, Maso, I have had a girls' trip.
Oh, chick trip.
Yep, chick trip down to the lovely Mornington Peninsula.
The MP. I've heard people call it is it the MP or the Morn Pints?
Oh, yeah.
They tried. There was a bit of it tried to be a nickname, but it got canned. I don't know. We'll Google that.
We might ask Andy from Edge because they're down in that neck of the woods. So, Andy, if you're listening, help us out here. But, I actually went into it, Maso, I don't think I was prepared. Well, I shouldn't say prepared, but I just went about my day packing, and that was all good. And I was away with my besties, and g'day besties. They were obviously drinking. It was quite a boozy weekend, and I probably wasn't prepared for that. I think, like, I was sort of like, forget that they're going to be drinking every day. Like, it was every day. Full on thing. We actually had a beautiful day. We did a day at the Mornington Peninsula Springs.
Oh, Springs.
Yes.
Have you been there before?
No. We were there for 5.5 hours, mate. It was amazing.
Did your hands go like all crinkly?
Yeah, I was like a little prune when I got out. But one thing I will say about the whole weekend is the girls were so bloody supportive of me, Maso. And every time they got a drink, they will get me an AF drink. Like it was so inclusive. It just felt like I was drinking with the girls. I was still, up drinking. I had my heaps normal when we were back at the house. And but one thing I did do is I got on the darts.
Dirty dart tosses. What's your choice? You're a bit of a
I was running,
aren't you?
Well, I was scumming. off my friend in true social darts form. Yeah. And they're called JPS. They're like big dog menthol numbers. They're really long.
Those thin ones, like real classy, like lady.
Yes. And the other is I do like the taste of the menthol, but you don't wake up with dirty ashtray breath.
Okay.
The next day. Trying to justify this in my head, Maso.
Yeah,
but it was your classic girls' weekend. It was pubs, wineries, meeting people, lost phones, lost handbags, found the phone, found the handbag. It was just one of those weekends, D&Ms, sitting around the fire. It was just, it had all the, makings of a classic girls' weekend.
Tears?
Tears, yes. Yes, of course. Yes, that's a given also, tears.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at one point I was like, oh, I'd love to be drinking with the girls. But you know what? I didn't miss out on anything. The only thing I did do is the last night we were all sitting around the fire and we'd had a sort of long day. We'd been to a winery for lunch. And even the girl at the winery, there was no non-alc options except for there's lemon lime bitters and soft drink. And so I said to her, oh, can I have a lemon lime and bitters, but can I have it in a glass? And she's like, of course you can, dear. We want you to feel included. She was a cracker. But yeah, the last night we were sitting around the fire and it was, 10:30. And I was like, yep, I've had it it was just they were at a point. So I was like,
where you had to red card yourself.
yeah, red carded myself. And I went to bed, and then I loved it. I was in bed. I was sort of tossing and turning, and they must have come in not long after me, and they were in the kitchen and just cracking up with laughter. And I was just like, oh, it just made me have a little smile on my face. God, I wonder what they're talking about. I wonder what they're doing. But they were having a wow of a time. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of a big test. I was a little bit, even the dart thing, I was like, you know what? I had a few darts, not the end of the world.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's it. Met people, remembered the whole time, and just, the girls are awesome. So if you're listening, girls, thanks so much for your support. And do you know what? They pumped up my tyres like never before. They were just, because I was driving them everywhere as well. So I walked away with a massive head because they were just like pumping me up flat.
That is so brilliant. Well done, girls. Kudos to your friends. I know them all. Well done, each and every one of you. That's so amazing to lift you up, make you feel included. Did they give you a bus driver song? Here's to the bus driver. 3 cheers to the bus driber.
Oh. You get that. You'll have to get there, Maso.
That's amazing, girls. Well done, chickies. We so appreciate it. And it's a shout out to all friends. Please listen to Breeze's mates because it is so imperative to get through this sobriety journey when you've got the support from your friends. That's amazing. Well done.
Thanks,
all
mate.
of you. Well done for getting through that.
Thanks, mate. What about you, Maso? How's your week been?
Yeah, well, since my little vulnerability session the other day, it's really interesting actually, because we spoke about it prior to that episode saying, do you want to talk about it? And I said, nah, too early, too raw. And then obviously is that episode, I said we'll just see what falls out my mouth.
Yes.
and that happened.
It came
out, which was good. It's really therapeutic for me to put it out there, and it makes it more real given that the situation being ghosted. I'm got to make up the story in my head. And anyway, I won't listen back to previous episodes if you want to catch up on that. But I have in this grieving process, I am getting little pangs of anxiety, but longer periods. So,
right.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, okay, this is happening. And I don't know, I'm trying to figure out whether it's obviously body's response to stress, grief, could be after my period. There's I'm trying to manage it and work out what's causing it, where it's coming from, how long it's lasting. So I'm just starting the process with that, and I'll put my reco at the end of what I've been doing with that. But it's really interesting. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, continue.
I put a poll on LISK actually. If you're not following me over on LISK, it's LYSK_official, asking have you had anxiety, who's experienced anxiety, and 95% of them do. And I mean, and then I followed up and said, is this surprising? Is this number surprising for people? And it's pretty much 50-50. Most people are like, yeah, of course. Like I knew that would be the high number, but it's surprising too. And I feel like we're all just suffering in silence on this. You know, I mean, I'm aware that people get anxiety and it's absolutely crippling. And, you know, one of my loved ones took Lexapro for a little while. It was so helpful for him. It's a shame that he went off it. Another story. What's that? Remember that other story episode we were going to do?
There was we parked up a lot of content. We parked up heaps of content.
Anyway, my message for this week is, I'm getting little pangs of it. I see you, I feel you, I hear you. I'm putting this out there to say you're not alone. If you're feeling it, listen to the reco at the end about how we can work through it together. Don't you reckon?
I can't wait to hear that reco. And kudos to you, Maso, for having that self-awareness of knowing when you're getting that anxiety and you're obviously stopping still and doing whatever you're doing, which we'll hear about. But to have that self-awareness and then to also put it out there to your wider community and to help others in your community as well while you're going through that. So
thanks, mate. I think because thank you so much. I think because even when you hear it from someone else, you don't feel alone.
Totally. Yep. And which is another reation why we do this potty, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's what inspired that as well, because you sent me that podcast, the very first podcast, Sober Awkward with Reece Porter. And that was the first time I went, oh, my God, I'm not alone on this. I thought I was the only boozer.
I said that around heaps to quite a few people, actually.
To cracking it.
One thing I forgot to say too, you mentioned before about content, the word content. When I was away with the girls, one of them said, "Oh, you got lots of content for this weekend for the potty." And I was like, no, like I was like, this is our little inner sanctum weekend. I'm not going to go and go, oh my God, well, she did this. Not that we had those moments, but yeah, like that was it was a little inner sanctum trip. And I don't want people to think that when I'm with them and people are drinking that I'm going, oh, what are they going to do so I can talk about it on the potty? Like,
you can tell me off air.
But especially with my, you know, my nearest and dearest. So
that's amazingly respectful for that, Breeza, because that would have been real juicy for the pod. And they knew it too. Like, but it's gorgeous that you... I think we know how it all unfolds.
Yeah, and we've all been there. Gosh. Later. That's actually a good segue to roll into shame story.
Ooh, shame.
Before we fill our guts with our shame story, I'm going to crack an Altina Sangria.
Yes.
And as I mentioned before, there's no ice involved. It's just room temp.
Straight down the hatch.
Straight it up. Just
straight down the hatch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crack that can, baby.
You know what? I'm having mine out of the can as well. And I already cracked it. I already had a cheeky sip.
Oh, bang. I'm pouring mine into a cup today. I haven't been doing cup life lately. So
I'm changing it out. So I'm on the La Blanc.
If you are watching us on YouTube, check out the colour. It's like it almost looks like, you know, Portello. Like how cool is Portello, that colour?
Didn't you share like a shame story about you had vodka Portello?
Was it yes, or was it sarsaparilla?
No, sarsaparilla. Oh, that's disgusting.
You gotta have shame on your name. Shame on your name. You gotta figure it out. They're gonna...
Okay, my shame story this week is when I left Abu Dhabi to come back to Australia, I was putting Sauvignon Blanc in my water bottle so I could have a little cheeky sip at the airport on the way home and like on the aeroplane. And when I got back to Australia and Ty and the kids were there to pick me up, I spoke about it later. And I said, oh, what did you know when you first saw me, what did you think? He goes, oh, all I could smell was alcohol.
Oh, mate. How big a water bottle are we talking? Like
really chugged it back.
You talk
just
Miller.
Mount Franklin.
Yeah. Just sucking back.
Just sucking it back.
Oh, so why? Like, let's unpack that, May. So why do you think you felt the need to do that? Don't you get free booze on the plane anyway?
Yeah, but I wanted to really get amongst them.
Oh, so you were double dipping.
Yeah. Because they might not come round they take too long to come round.
Got you. And clearly you're not afraid of flying. Like that wasn't the reason.
I was just out to get para. No, I think there was some stuff going on at home when I was arriving home and I wasn't coping real well with that. So I was masking emotions to deal with that.
Yeah, wow.
Which I've only just recognised now. In fact, I got a message from a friend the other day who listens to the potty, and she was in Abu Dhabi with me, and she loved it. She said, "Oh, I should actually dive into that." Anyway, she did actually say, I thought it was a bit odd that you were having like drinks first thing in the morning after you'd finished work. Like we're getting from a red eye and, finish at 6 o'clock in the morning, get home at 8 a.m. and I'd be cracking open drinks because it's after work drinks, because that's what I've always done. You always have drinks after work. But she always thought that was a bit odd, never said anything because she realised that would have been cutting out one of her enablers to not drink with. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So she never said anything at the time. And if she did say something at the time, I would have gone, fuck you.
Totally. You weren't
I think anyway, we're going to unpack that a little bit later. But, so sneaky drinks.
What about when Ty said that to you, when he said, so I was booze? Was it like, or was there any oh God moment?
Yeah, well, I laughed at the time and went a bit cringe inside. I was dying.
A little bit more booze on his face.
Yeah, I was horrified. I thought that's terrible. And the kids to have their, to smell his boozy stepmom.
Yeah.
What a rat. What a rat.
Well, not a rat, mate. You were like we've said so many times, and like we've discovered, we we're soaking ourselves in booze to mask emotions.
Yep.
To numb emotions.
Yep.
To not have to deal with emotions and feelings.
Yep.
And now we've got to feel them all.
Like even when they were coming around with the bubbly first thing, like I was knocking it back, and you only get one, pre-flight, or while they're boarding the plane, they only come around with one, and I was gagging for a second one. I was like, I need another one.
You had the taste.
Yeah,
for it.
I was like, and I still, So it's interesting in reflection when you look back at that, and I'll unpack that in the topic. But
and again, another big one. Thank you for sharing, Maso, because that's something that you're not proud of now.
Nah.
So that's a massive admission to say that and put it out there.
Confession session.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You go.
Oh, righto. This one, happened when I was 20 years old, and I've actually given it a title, Maso.
Oh, this is a big deal. Shit. Buckle up.
Buckle up. The title is Blackout, Rack Out.
Oh.
So make sure you buckle up. Oh, is this a really bad one?
We need some bumper stickers.
It's got a good little ring to it, hasn't it? Blackout, rack out.
Yeah.
Oh, righto. My heart's already racing. I need a bloody drink of Sandsgrove. At a good friend's 21st, I'm still good friends with. And it was out at, I'm not even going to say where it is actually. Anyway, it's in Bendigo. And Breeza really tied one on early in the evening and didn't even make it to the speeches. Like, it was too, I think I was out by then, the speeches. There was an early exit, apparently. Don't remember it. But so I'd been drinking, I reckon I was trying the hard liquor on the vodkas and heavy beer, because I could then, and got absolutely shit-faced, blacked out. And my friend, whose birthday party it was, her dad had to drive me home. I was actually staying at a friend's house not far, so he had to drive me home. And apparently, and I don't even know who else came with me in the car, whether he just dropped me and then went back to the party. But in that car trip home, and it was only, say, 2 or 3 minutes, Breeze's rack was out, apparently. Like, just blind mess. I think I had to get carried to the car. Like, I don't even know what I was wearing, but obviously it was enough to then slip and nip, and it was out. It was out.
Slip and nip.
So I was, obviously unbeknownst. This is all happening. I had no recollection at all about this. Then apparently I got back to my friend's house, and her mum had to put me in the shower because I was spewing. So full nude, again, embarrassing, in the shower at my friend's house, and then obviously got put to bed. And then my friend must have come home. I don't know if she came home with me or if she stayed at the party and then went back. Anyway, Breeza wakes up the next morning and rolled over, saw my friend, and I'm like, did we go out last night?
Oh, no.
So I thought we'd been clubbing. I wasn't sure. I'm like, did we go out last night? She's like, Breeza, such and such's dad had to drive you home. Mum had to put you in the shower and wash you. And I was like, dead. Anyway, fast forward to 20 plus years later, here we are now. The father still reminds me of this incident, Maso.
No.
And it's actually to a point now where it's disgustingly creepy that he still reminds me that my rack was out. And I've had this discussion with my friend before, and she's like, she agrees with me. And now I just pull him up. And go, are you still talking about that? Like, seriously, can we move on? Just cut it loose, mate. It's just makes me uncomfortable. And I used to, when he used to say, I just sort of laugh it off and, just feel awful inside. Now I just like, can you please stop talking about it? Like, he talks about it at inappropriate times. He brought it up at a business event, and I was like, he's still talking about that. Like, come on.
That's shit.
Yeah, it is. Shit. It is. But I'm now old enough and wise enough to kind of go, that's kind of on you now, mate, that you're still bringing it up. Like, come on.
100%. Read the room, bro. Like,
read the room and have a bit of empathy. Like, I've moved on. I've definitely moved on from now.
Yeah.
Obviously to the point where I can talk about it. But yeah, it was definitely wrapped up in like there's a lot of shame wrapped around it. Probably after the event, like, you know, a few weeks after the event. At the time, I was just like, oh well. But now I've moved on, and yeah.
He doesn't need to keep pecking at it. Like,
yeah,
stop doing that.
Yeah.
So do you remember nothing?
Zero, mate. Zero. Yeah, I could have been with bloody Peter Pan. I just nothing.
Yeah.
And then don't you hate that when people remind you of stuff that you just have no recollection of?
Yeah.
But obviously being in the shower and your friend's mum's washing you is not very a proud moment.
Not ideal. Oh, mate.
What do we say? What do we say, Maso? It wouldn't have happened if we weren't hammered.
We haven't dropped that for a while.
I know. It's good to bring it back.
Yep, it's on the way back in. Mate, like John Farnham, come back king. Come back to us.
No, that's off my chest.
Yeah.
Mind the pun.
That's staying in.
Let's crack on with it. What are we talking about today, mate?
We're talking about labels.
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 Are they well, damaging? Labels can be damaging, can't they, mate?
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous and damaging. And how, oh God, you go.
Well, I was just, I'm sure we've got a lot to say about this. I was just actually jotting down a few notes about all the labels that are associated with drinking. And if you sort of, these are what I've written down. So alcoholic, social alcoholic, high functioning alcoholic, long-term alcoholic, a grey area drinker, which is something we've just discovered last year, a teetotaler or a wowser, a booze hound.
I think I had a T-shirt. Someone made me a T-shirt with booze hound on it once.
Yeah, right. Oh, shit,
yeah.
Even the saying, she loves the piss.
Yeah, piss head.
Piss head. Yeah. Massive piss head.
She's real good on the sauce.
Yes.
Piss fit.
Yep.
I love being piss
Wasn't
fit.
that a badge of honour?
I rated myself as being real piss fit.
Same. So I suppose today we're talking about those different labels.
Problem drinker, heavy drinker.
Yes, heavy, yes. And that's what you hear in conversation, isn't it?
Yep. I was having a really, really quality discussion with a friend who has been in AA, actually. So I've got a little bit of insight, which is extraordinary. And because I wanted to have that discussion with them because prior to this conversation, because I think we've been prior to this, and we hear it, I've heard it dropped, no one ever wants to be labelled as an alcoholic, right? And we'd say, I'm not an alcoholic. We put that out there straight away, like being an alcoholic is a big bad thing and the worst thing in the world. It's like, the bloke pissing his pants in the park type situation with his brown paper bag. That's what an alcoholic stereotype looks like, doesn't it?
That's how it's painted to us, I think, from a young age.
Correct. But as time's going on, hopefully this episode will open that and realise that everyone in AA is everyone from that bloke to your highest functioning CEO of the biggest, rocks up in his Maserati to, a mum, stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home mum, whoever. It's just such a wide and vast part of the community because it's an addictive substance and it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't discriminate.
Doesn't discriminate. Absolutely. Yeah. Write that down, peeps. Yeah. And even someone who even is labelled as a high functioning alcoholic.
Real classy, broad.
So a high functioning alcoholic, they can still go about their day. So they can still rock up at work. They can still, function. That's why it's called high functioning. So they don't label themselves as an alcoholic because to be an alcoholic in their eyes, you have to be, your life's turned on its head. Relationships have been fractured. You're not working, perhaps.
Yeah. So this is what they talk about in. because I said I want to be really delicate of dropping the word alcoholic. Is it offensive? He said, no, it's not. He said, because
That's a good question to ask, mate.
Thank you. And this person, he was so amazing in his generosity, and I wish I had have jotted it down. Damn it, I wish I'd have taken notes. He spoke about alcoholics get up every single session, you know, once a week and put their hand up and say, I'm an alcoholic. They own that. They know they're an alcoholic. And it's the only sickness that you can self-diagnose. There's no test for it. There's no go to the doctor, okay, I've got diabetes, I've got cancer.
Yep.
The thing with alcoholic, it comes with so much shame, but it's a sickness. Cancer is a sickness and doesn't come with shame. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So the thing with alcoholics, and I said to him, I always thought the definition of an alcoholic is if your life is falling apart, if you like as you said just now, your work, your relationships and everything isn't working. So an alcohol is the problem. Is
problematic.
And he said that the way that alcoholics are defined as an alcoholic is if you can put the drink down, right? If you can stop drinking, but then actually stop drinking for like, you know, forever. Can you do that? Can you stop drinking, and can you stop drinking forever? And also another one is if you're at the pub, say, you know, old mates at the pub having a drink and wife rings and says, yep, no worries, darling, I'll be home in, you know, 5 minutes or half an hour, whatever it is, just an ordinary drinker. The alcoholic, if the wife rings, he's not answering the phone.
Yes, right.
Isn't that, yeah, so you can differentiate between what that looks like. So
and it is, you touched on before, Maso, it is a sickness.
It is a sickness.
The addiction is classed as a disease.
Yep, it is. It absolutely is. And it's, you know, alcohol is a substance, an addictive substance as sugar is, you know. Like when we were discussing this, he was talking about another friend of his about mental obsession with alcohol and dependence with alcohol. And it made me think about my relationship with alcohol. And I wonder how I would label myself. Like, I'm sure the listeners are wondering, what did your drinking look like, girls? What was it? And I've been trying to unpack that myself, because I think we all think, no, we don't have a problem with alcohol, do we? But as a society, as a worldwide thing, I think we all have a problem with alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, we're choosing to put this poison in our heads that, you know, it's addictive and it contributes to endless health and relationship, you know, implications, and you know, it floods the brain and switches off the prefrontal cortex, making decisions where we do dumb and stupid stuff. So I think that's a problem.
Yep. And it's the only drug in the world you have to justify saying no to.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's madness. It is absolutely bloody madness. So I was talking to him about, he was telling me the story about this old mate, and it made me reflect, oh, God, I kind of did that once too, or I was doing a lot of that, where I went out for breakfast or brunch with a friend and for her birthday, and I got there and there was a cafe that didn't serve booze. What do you mean?
Shock horror.
I know. What do you mean we're having brunch and no bubbly? Like, I was actually a bit filthy about it, and I couldn't get past it. I found myself. Do you ever get like that as well?
I can imagine you doing that, Maso.
Yeah, I'm on my own here, but I'm sure I'm not.
No, I know. Yeah, there definitely would have been times where that I've been caught off guard because a venue, a cafe or something I went to for, you know, lunch even didn't have booze.
What the fuck? What do we do? Fucking what?
Yeah. Now what do we do?
Yeah, this is shit.
Drive through.
Yeah, couldn't. And then it also got to a point where if Ty and I were off wherever on a little weekend away,
overnight stay.
And I'd walk past a cafe for lunch or whatever, I'd have to like have a peep in the window and make sure there was booze on the bar, make sure that you could see that there was booze in the fridges or bar that they would offer alcohol, or check the menu for booze. Wasn't going in if it didn't. I was telling my friend about this. He said, yeah, that's a mental obsession. It's a mental addiction that I kind of had, because I was thinking about it all the time, or thinking about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I could
needed to know it was there, probably. Just needed to know it was there as an option.
Yeah. And just always on the hunt for it. And so
interesting. And I suppose like that alcoholic label, like you said before, Maso, no one wants to label themselves as an alcoholic.
The alcoholics are okay with it.
Yes.
But
Boom.
I'm going to
Boom.
tell you something else, and this is what we spoke about the other day, is that people calling people alcoholics come from a place of fear.
Yeah, right.
So if you're, he said to me, he'd be like, oh, yeah, that Maso, she's an absolute booze hound, she's an alcoholic, because that takes the heat off himself and his own drinking.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Interesting. Yeah. Yep. I can see that. Well, I suppose, for me, when I learned about the term of grey area drinker, I was like, that's where I sit. I can relate to that. Because I could certainly switch on, switch off my drinking as I wished, as I please. In a social setting, I didn't bother me if I was not drinking in social situations. Obviously, I'd drink at any opportunity in a social situation, but I could still happily, attend an event without a skinful of piss. But then for me, I suppose it was that drinking alone, that probably is what sort of set some alarm bells off in my head, because at nights I was alone, and what else do you do except rip open a packet of Tim Tams and a bottle of Shiraz?
Yeah.
I suppose that's for me where I was like, and you hear people talk, oh yeah, I have a drink at night, or I have a drink with dinner, but it was never just a drink with me.
No.
And we were talking about it before, like you'd open a bottle of wine, you're like, well, there's, 3/4 of bottles still there. So, of course, I'm going to tuck into some more of it.
Can't let it go to waste.
Yeah.
750 ml is not quite enough. Like,
no.
It needs to be a litre.
And it's funny, like people say, I've heard people say, oh, I don't drink alone. But it's people that are in a relationship that say that.
Yeah.
And so they're not alone. They've always got someone there with them. So it makes me think, I wonder if you were on your own, would that switch flick into then drinking?
Yeah, yeah.
Or would I have drank alone? Would I have sort of flagged it as a problem for myself if I didn't have that time alone? If I always had someone there, I wonder if I'd still be drinking as well, or if it's just that, loneliness, boredom, tasted good, got thirsty, kept going type thing.
Love the buzz.
Love the buzz. So, that grey area, that whole grey area drinker for me, I could relate to.
Yeah.
And that's probably where we're talking about labels, because you don't have to live by a label.
No.
You can constantly keep evolving. Actually, I did write down, if, when people say to you, have you ever heard this, Maso, when people say, oh, you've changed?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
we're meant to change.
We're meant to change. That's it. Like, it's the best comeback to go, bloody oath I have. Like, I've changed. We're not supposed to stay in the same, as we were, 20 years ago. And in fact, my therapist always refers, I don't know if I've shared it in the potty, she always refers to it as a frozen adolescent.
Oh,
so it's like a male or a female who are still in that, as you're adolescent, no care factor, no responsibilities, you're still like a party. I mean, we still like parties, but we do it differently now. Yeah. But it's that frozen adolescent when you're an adult.
That's like, so good.
It's a good term, isn't it?
I love that so much.
Write that down, people. It's another quote for you.
Love that.
It's a bonus quote.
Love that. Sorry, I'm just going to...
Maso's just adjusting her lighting. I'm actually waiting for the Garbo. It's Garbo Day today.
Yeah, where's our Garbo?
Where's our Garbo?
The dual Garbo.
We need the token Garbo noise in the background.
Sorry, that light was just smashing me. It was
I know,
I was like trying to dodge it. Need a sun visor. I think labelling, because like when people talk about, oh, she's a heavy drinker, or she's a problem drinker, or I've got a problem, everyone's perception of what that looks like is different for everybody. I think when we first started drinking alone, do you remember the first time you drank alone, or can you remember thinking, oh God, this is what I've come to?
No, didn't think it was didn't think it was, I thought it was normal.
Or when you first discovered or heard about other people drinking alone, did you think it was like, oh, here we go?
When people have said to me, I never drink alone, I was like, oh, okay, weirdo. What do you do then? But I was like, I probably just like brushed off. Yeah. So I didn't see it. Still never saw it as like a little bit of a issue.
Whereas I think with the first time that I think I saw or heard people drinking alone, this is 100 years ago, I would be like, whoa.
Oh, when you heard it. Sorry, I thought you meant if I heard someone.
Oh,
sorry, I took it differently.
No, I like it.
I'd be with you, Maso. Yeah, I'd be with you.
Yeah.
Until I became that person.
Yeah, exactly. Until it became okay. And then when you first did it, then once you did it a few times, you're like, this is normal and it's fine.
Totally.
It's really good to go. And it's actually, in fact, I much prefer drinking on my own. It's heaps fun. Still love going out. Still love going out with friends, but did love cooking just on my own.
Yeah.
In fact, I really loved drinking just to get through life, just lifey. Housework, paperwork, just doing shit around the house, like putting a bit of a spin on it. And I think that's what I did actually. I realised that I just always poured a little alcohol just to enhance the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Reminded me of a story, mate. I was a Friday night and I didn't have the kids and I was like, I'll do some housework so I can wake up on Saturday morning. The housework's done for the weekend. So I was like, I need some booze for this event. So quick, clean the house, come on. It's not something I really like doing. So I was like, I need some booze. So yeah, pumped up the tunes. I think I was drinking Fiji and vodka because I'd not long got back from Fiji. So I was really getting amongst it. And then I started getting busy on the texts and my friend up the road, her and her hubby had a few people over. So then I ended up going over to after I'd done the housework, ended up going to their house, just massive, huge night. Rest of the weekend wiped out.
Yes.
So that one little thing, I'm going to have a drink just so I can get cleaning, get amongst it, turn into the weekend gone.
Exactly.
There was some questionable dancing in the shed by me. It was all, you know how the night goes. So.
Love it. And they're the best nights, aren't they? We always talk about the best nights that are unplanned and they just, get the night gets away from you. But this is what I mean. We talk about being a problem drinker when putting a label on someone saying, oh, she's a problem drinker. But this is normal behaviour that you've just done, Breeza, is, that night gets away, gets carried away and your weekend's written off. Isn't that a problem? Like, do you know what I mean? We normalise that.
Yes, we totally normalise it.
And everyone does it every weekend.
Yep. Yeah.
And people say, that's not a problem, but she over there has got a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Her over there who's like, I don't know, siphoning wine to take on her flight. That's a problem. But isn't it like, do you know what I mean? Like they're both problem. Because we're problematic.
Because as a society we've justified it that binge drinking on the weekends, totally acceptable.
Yeah, yes.
Like Friday to Sunday, go your hardest. But hang on a minute. If you're drinking that on a Monday, hang on a minute.
Exactly.
It goes back to that listener question we had about a few weeks ago about normalising. Why do we normalise binge drinking?
Yep.
Even the label binge drinker. He or she's a binge drinker.
Yeah, and it's okay. Yeah.
And it's like, they're just a binge drinker. Like there's still underlying stuff there.
Isn't there?
And that's, being a binge drinker, that's accidents can happen, stuff can happen.
Yeah.
Or being there. Like, God, I always look back based on think how lucky I am to be alive.
Oh, my God.
So many near misses.
So many. Me too.
Another shame story I was going to share today was another drink driving story, Maso.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I need to seriously start apologising to everyone in my life for the danger I've put them in and other people on the road. I was just like, oh, my God, it just came back to me. I'm like, shit, that's another time.
Yeah.
I just, yuck.
Yeah. And do you think I've connected with a few people from, 100 years ago, and I actually want to ask them, can you please tell me some stories I did when I was on the piss? Because when I've been black, have you had that too?
No, I've had that thought. Yeah.
That I'm like, because there's so many blackouts and so many situations that I've forgotten about, and I want to say, all right, pop it in the suggestion box of things I can talk, more shame stories. It's shit I don't remember and dumb stuff I've done. Yeah, so I'm sorry, everyone. Sorry, world. But look, we're here to tell a story, and so many aren't, Breeza. Alcohol's really cost lives.
Yeah, and we did get some feedback by a listener recently about how he'd been listening to our potty and he'd cut back his drinking.
Oh, unbelievable.
That's a high level rundown of it.
I can read you that. I can read you that if you like. Is that the one that you're referring to?
Yeah, the one that you sent me a few days ago.
Yeah, so one of our listeners, he's actually suffering PTSD actually, which is just, yeah, like I can't even imagine how difficult that is. But just said that he said, I finally got the opportunity to listen to your interview on booze-free Bants. Wow, it was so inspiring. I went 1 week without alcohol, which was a good start for me. I had been drinking 3 or 4 cans every night to dull the effects of PTSD and try to help me sleep. I did have a couple of beers over the weekend, but planned to stay off the grog during the week. Each time I felt like a beer during the week, I would play your podcast.
Yes.
And they have helped me cut right back. Just want to say a big thank you. I finally realised I can get sleep without booze.
What a breakthrough for this.
Isn't that extraordinary? Isn't that amazing? I'm just so thrilled and rapt to be a part of that. So, yeah, and I think that's a big thing. We all think that booze helps you sleep and booze is going to help you stress. In fact, that was one of the questions the other day was they had, one of our listeners talking about having anxiety and does booze help? No, it doesn't.
Does booze cause anxiety? It was. Yeah. I actually listened to that. Do you know what, mate? So I don't listen, like I listen to our potty before I upload it.
Yes.
And then I don't listen to it once it's live, but I've listened to our little check-in twice this week.
Yeah, doubled up.
Yeah, I've doubled up because it was just a really good, great check-in. And I think especially you, Maso, like how vulnerable you were.
Wah.
I think you needed to have that conversation. You needed to have that chat anyway.
It was, yeah.
It was just good. And actually one thing that we spoke about, and it reminded me of our text message yesterday, is I spoke about how I was white knuckling and it was between the 8 and 10 month mark. And you're having a similar experience.
Bang, yes.
And you're, 9.5.
Yeah, yep, exactly right. I messaged you yesterday and said with this anxiety that I'm feeling, it was the first time in this, since August 9th last year when I gave booze a flick that I just went, at no point am I actually seriously going to have a drink, but it was the first time that I went, I just want to escape this head.
Yeah.
I just want this thick, heavy, like my head is in a vice and I'm so low. I just wanted a mood changer.
That's how you said it, a mood changer.
Yeah, I did. I could, mate, give me a spliff. I don't know. Seriously, I thought about any mind-altering substance just to give me a boost. Yeah. And I just needed that. And anyway, as it turns out, this too shall pass, yada, 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 yada. But, and I'm, but it was the first time that I just went, oh, God, I could use just a bit of an upper.
Yeah. And that's probably a question we'll have to our listeners, or just a bit of a heads up. If you have, given the booze a flick and you're still in that 12 months period, just watch out for that sort of 8 to 10 month mark.
It's coming at you.
It's coming at you. Yes. Just really buckle up for that.
And if that's the case, reach out to your friend or if you're on the lowdown, slide into our DMs at Breeze-free Bants on Instagram or Lisk or at you say your handle.
iFluent AF Drinks. Just reach out to us and we'll pump you up.
Yeah, talk you off the ledge.
Getting back to labels, Maso, there's like labels everywhere, right? And when I became a single mum, I had a real problem with the single mum label.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think, I don't know, but it's always brought up in conversation, she's a single mum. Like, doesn't matter. Yeah, like I just find even in amongst like the school community, it'll be like, do you know such and such? Oh, she's a single mum. It's never, do you know such and such? Oh, she's married. She's a married mum. Like there's never that. But why do people feel the need to bring up the single mum thing? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Why is it a thing? Someone help educate me. I'm not sure. And I then rocked around wearing that single mum label as a badge of, I was proud, not that right word, but what I'm getting at is most single mums I know are the most organised, hardworking, bloody go-getters that I know.
Yep.
And they have to be.
Yeah, and that's what I think. When I hear single mum, I'm like, you're a fucking powerhouse.
Yes. Yep.
I really do.
And maybe that's why people say, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole single mum, middle child is another label that gets thrown around, and only child. Yeah. Why do we need to know? Why do we need to know where people are in the pecking order?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why do we
because
need
it
to know?
gives them then we make more allowances for their fuckedness.
Is that it? You reckon?
I think the only child thing is a big, quite, you know, oh God, I don't want to dig. Look, I'm just going to skip that. I don't know many only child actually, but why? Yeah, exactly. Do you know one thing that I get a bit uptight about is stay-at-home mum?
Yes,
because I think,
and I'm guilty of saying that to people. She's a stay-at-home mum.
Yeah,
put my hand up.
I think someone messaged me the other day hashtag STO, or they just put STOW, stay or whatever it is.
Oh, didn't know that was trending.
And I was like, what is that? I had to Google it, as I do all the acronyms.
Yeah.
But because I think mums I think it's the biggest job in the world is raising a human. Like, are so underrated. And I just feel like stay-at-home mum just is like meh, whereas I think it should be
bloody
queen
sacrificing her probably maybe wants and needs to go out to the workforce to stay at home for kids. Yes. Love that, Maso.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And do you know, actually, while we're on this subject, while we're talking about hands-on dad, fuck off. Yes. Fuck off. Yes. Oh, seriously?
What is with that?
Oh, he's a hands-on dad.
He's a hands-on dad.
Good on him. Babysitting his own kids.
Yes.
Fuck off. Sorry, I'm real sweary about that, but it shits me.
No, I am 100% with you. Thank you for calling that out, mate.
Oh, God.
Like, just spew, vomit in your mouth, regurgitate, do it again. We've got a long way to go still, I think. Like, we've come a long way in society, but I still think we've got a long way to go. And I am, so curious as to know how that's going to look like when my daughter's a mum or when my son, if they both become parents. I'm so interested to know how that's going to look like.
Do you know what else gets my tits in a tangle?
Oh, talk to me. To me.
Plus size.
Yeah.
Plus size models.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So why don't we have minus size models? What the fuck is a plus size model? Sorry, I'm really scary about it.
And who makes the mark of what's the size? What defines a plus and minus from the size?
I think it's, and who decide? And exactly, if there's plus, well, it should be minus. Why can't we all just be models? Like,
you don't need to call out the size.
Yeah.
Just the model.
Oh, that makes me so cross.
That's a massive tits in a tangle situation. So I suppose to our listeners, if you are feeling like you're labelled, fuck it.
Cut the label loose.
Cut the label loose.
Yeah, exactly.
And Hayley Vernon put it beautifully, didn't she, in the potty about, what did she say about there's 1,000 women in this vessel in her body. She can be this type of woman, this woman, that woman. Like, you wear so many different, hats, or you can put on so many different facades. Defining yourself as an alcoholic or defining yourself as a grey area drinker, you're so much more than that.
100%. 100%. I think just sitting in the fact that it is a seriously savage addictive substance and we've all got a problem with it, and that's okay. It's okay. Like, finding your peace where you sit with alcohol in or out of your life.
And I often hear people say, oh, well, he drinks this much and I only drink this much. That whole comparison thing about justifying how much you're drinking.
Have you found people talk to you a lot about your drinking?
All the time.
I don't care what you drink.
I don't care what you drink. And actually, I pulled myself up the other day because I was having a conversation with someone and something came up about alcohol and me not drinking. And I said, I quit in June last year because, and I was like, I don't have to justify why I quit. I was like, because it doesn't matter. Like, I was about to go into this whole spiel of like why I quit. I'm like, no, just cut it. People don't need to know. They can tune into Booth Bants if they want to know the juicy things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people, they get curious. They're like, oh, I must have been a real boozer. Must have been alcoholic. And I think that's what a lot of people think about me. Like, they really think I'm an alcoholic. When I've put stuff on social media, they're like,
what makes you think they think that?
That message that I got from my friend in Abu Dhabi, I think she thinks I'm an alcoholic. I think.
Yeah, right.
But I think perhaps this is the first sort of conversations people are hearing about us talking so openly about booze. It's not readily available, is it, this whole labelling? So naturally we're either an alcoholic or you're not.
Yeah, but there's so much more
So exactly.
in between that. So, if you are like questioning your alcohol, the first thing is definitely do not compare your drinking to other people's drinking.
Yeah.
Like just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, because you've got to know your own limitations, I suppose, and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And if people are going to try and label you, that's actually them, like I said, it's fear of their own drinking. It's like, oh, yeah, it's triggered something for them to try and take the heat off themselves.
Yep.
It's funny, you were talking just quickly about when you're in a group, and when we went out for dinner with a bunch of mates recently, I was real up and about the podcast and, really, talking about it and real excited and really passionate about it. And it made them feel a little bit awkward because they're, the waiter comes around and asks you for another drink and they're all like, oh, like they feel a bit weird around me and I don't want that. And we discussed it later that it kind of feels like I'm an anti-vaxxer talking about won't shut up about the podcast. So now I'm quite conscious of reining it back in of our sobriety. It makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does.
And we don't want it to.
Clear message to people. Yeah, we don't want it to. We honestly, I do not care what other people drink.
And exactly. And what you put in your body is your choice. Yep. And it's not them and us. It's not us against them. We're talking about inclusion. And that's why it's so important not to have labels and just whatever you do. If you want to drink, knock yourself out. Yeah. If you don't want to drink, don't drink.
And that not labelling it. Not labelling people with what you think, how they should sit into which category.
Correct. Labels are out.
Labels are bad. Bow.
No deal. No whammies, no whammies.
Takes regret, you can't forget. Cellular memory deficit.
So, you know how I'm a dog walker? Well, I actually got a message from a dog walker also.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, he listens to the potty. He goes, I was having some drinks the other night and I got a message from a booking and I, instead of texting back to the booking to say, yep, no worries, that's okay, we'll book you in tomorrow, it's all fine.
Hang on. Oh, so a dog booking. Yeah, dog
booking.
Yeah.
They messaged, what a kind of a thing. That fucking idiot dog is booked in tomorrow. FML, so fuck my life. And sent it, instead of sending it to their partner to explain, they actually sent it to the booking for the next day.
No. No. Did he like, what point did he realise he'd sent it to the wrong one?
Just backed it up and just let it be.
Oh.
No word. Just let it go.
No, nothing.
No dog. No nothing. Just silence.
Lost the customer.
No more doggo. And there was a bit of unfollow and
oh no. I get so worried about stuff like that because I think that if that happened to me and even to this guy, they could then write a review about him.
Yeah.
In a public forum. I always worry about that.
Yeah.
So I always have a rule. My phone is away when I used to, if I was having a big night, my phone is away.
Oh, that's so good.
Obviously I've got clients' accounts, social media accounts on my phone as well. And I just am like, just don't even have it anywhere near you because especially if you're blacked out, I wouldn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
So if any of my clients are listening, you're in safe, sober hands now. Yeah. And I still don't have my phone near me anyway when I'm socialising.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, and I also don't let the kids have it because I'm like, it's my work phone because they could easily just accidentally press a button next to an interest at someone's social media account. Someone's like, nope, no deal. I mean, they're pretty good with asking. They don't ask, but
yeah, that's great discipline, Breeza. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
It's time for the recommendation of the week.
My recommendation is going back talking about that anxiety thing, and I also want to touch on that. I know I'm a full oversharer here, and I know last episode when I was talking about Ty and breakup and ghosting and stuff, we were like, don't ghost. That's all Ty can do, okay? That's all he's capable of. So for whatever that reason is, whether that's his story to tell. So I just wanted to back that up. He's doing the best he can there. But the anxiety and things that I'm feeling, and I'm talking a little bit about it on LISC at the moment, I have brought in all the support systems that I possibly can, that being morning routine, gut performance, having my coffee. Coffee's not great for anxiety, by the way. Did you know that? Caffeine's not great for anxiety. I journal every morning using the Resilience Project 21-day journal, or you can just get a normal journal. But the Resilience Project journal prompts you and asks you questions to give you a little kick along. I burn white sage incense every morning as well, and then I will walk the dogs, go to the gym, and I'll do some breath work. And breath work is a big thing. I'll actually pop a thing on, actually jump over to LISC because I'll post this up. Cass Dunn does a podcast with Tiff Hall talking about meditation, because you know how we all think we're shit at it and we don't know how to do it? Yeah. Well, this will give you a little bit of insight on how to do that. I've got some podcasts to listen to as well by Michelle Schafland, I think her name is. She does some really beautiful meditation, and Jason Stephenson also some really good meditation. Big one, therapy. You get it, I get it. All get it. I've spoken about it before, getting a mental health care plan and getting therapy. But I've just got into acupuncture.
Right.
Yes, which I was getting a lot. Ty and I were actually getting it a lot last year, and it's brilliant. But I've just got back into it again, and I think that it just really does. It releases a lot of stuff. And I was a bit of a mess yesterday, and I think that's the biggest thing about therapy. It's got to get hard before it gets better. Yep. Every time you revisit something that's hard and difficult, it picks at the scab and wound and opens it up again, so it can just continually heal. So you've got to do the work. And I'll be honest, like, I didn't want to have that therapy session in the day because I didn't want to have to go back and revisit it and talk about it again. And then I felt so shit afterwards, like I'm crying, and I was feeling okay prior to it. And then I was just like, I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to keep revisiting it. But you have to. You've got to do the work. You've got to be able to heal. Yeah. So because I posted this thing the other day about hurt people, but they don't have to hurt people. Do the work, get the healing, do the work so that you don't have to keep hurting people. So, so acupuncture. Have you had acupuncture?
Yes.
Do you love?
Love. Yep. Love. Rate it. And the other thing is Reiki. Have you had Reiki? Have you ever had Reiki? Yeah.
Yes. And they can do that also remotely, which I'll put all these recos up as well. Just there's so many amazing therapeutic, whether it's alternate, holistic. There is so much out there, and you've got to find out what works for you, but it's about being curious and just trying different things out and working out what's best for you, don't you reckon?
Yep.
One lady did message me, and she said that website called www.mindspot, so mindspot.org.au, free call 1-800-614-434. She highly recommends they're amazing services for suffering anxiety as well. So
great.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. That's a really important reco you've put out there.
Thank you. And I think I mentioned before, like when you ring Beyond Blue, 80% of the phone calls they get are from women on their way to work. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we're all suffering in silence, and we don't need to. We can share and make it, normalise it. Normalise it.
Yeah. Which is another good segue, Maso, for my recommendation of the week. It is the Mornington Peninsula Springs, hot springs, whatever it's called. Yes, it doesn't have to be Mornington Peninsula. It just is a nice, like a spa treatment. Even if it's a massage, treat yourself to a massage or treat yourself to a day spa, whatever, however, whatever suits your budget. And it's just such a nice time to switch off. Like when we were at the spring, so we had an hour massage, and it was half an hour massage and then half an hour facial, and then we got to use like the springs, the day spa. What do you call the springs? Yeah, the hot springs and the sauna and that sort of thing. Yeah. So when I was getting my massage, fell asleep and woke up 4 times because I was snoring. Like I was like doing those ones. And my friend was next to me. Like we had a couple's room, so she was next to me, and she's like, Breeza, you kept falling asleep and you were waking up because you were snoring. Like you'd wake yourself up snoring. So I was in the zone, mate. I was in the zone. couldn't even tell you what she was massaging, where she was doing the facial. I was just, the minute she touched my head, like she did a head massage, gone. I was out to it. So I was in a deep sleep, and we did the whole sauna, and then you go into cold water submersion.
Oh, yes.
So we did that. And then following on from that, on the Saturday and the Sunday, myself and two of my friends, we went into the bay.
Oh, how good.
Yeah. And we did 5 minutes in the bay, shoulders submerged in the cold water.
How amazing.
It was so good. And it helped their hangovers. Actually, no, we did put our head under too. We put our head under. But yeah, that was the cold water submersion, hot bath, sauna, infrared sauna, steam room, all of it.
Oh, love
all of it. And then we sat in a barrel, like they're big, it was almost like a big wine barrel, but it wasn't a wine barrel. It was like a big size one. Sat in the barrel. I had my kombucha. The girls had their bubbles, and we just, zoned out. So
I love this.
That's my recommendation. Do it either, you can do it alone or do it with a couple of friends, and just treat yourself. Like I said, you could just do a massage, go to your local massage shop, whatever it is, and just a bit of self-care.
Love that. Love that. That's beautiful. I mean, on that, thanks, Breeza.
Yeah, do it, Maso. Get around it.
Thank you so much. What a great app.
What a great app. I love our chats.
Same. It's therapeutic for us.
It is. And next week we have got a cracking guest on.
OMG.
Yes, OMG. It is Sammy from Sober Mates.
Oh, my God. I love this episode so much.
We actually chatted to her yesterday, so that'll be dropping next week. So buckle up for that one. We cannot wait to share that one.
Yeah, if you want to have a little insight, get on her Instagram page.
Yeah,
Sober Mates. And Facebook group, yeah?
Yeah, she's got a Facebook group as well, Sober Mates.
Yep, she's a firecracker.
Yeah, absolute firecracker. She's a ball of energy. We can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, Maso, you're looking good. It's so good to see your face on the screen and have a chat.
Thank you. You too.
Flush it all out.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Couldn't do it without you, mate.
Likewise, mate. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks,
we will
Dean.
You'll hear from us next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This podcast is proudly produced by our audio engineer, music extraordinaire, Eric Ladd.
We love you, Eric.